A few days ago, BBC presenter Gary Lineker tried to virtue signal about the government's new laws to stop illegal immigrants coming across the channel in small boats. He compared Britain's government to Germany's in the 1930s, and he didn't mean 1930 to 1933 when it was the Weimar government, which would be a kind of accurate comparison given the levels of inflation and degeneracy we've got. He meant Nazi Germany's. It's a ridiculous comparison. I mean, I like the Tories, but they're not that good. That was a joke, by the way. I'm a comedian. I know it's 2023, so everything a comedian says has to get taken at absolute literal face value, but sometimes, just occasionally, comedians are joking. Obviously, I don't think the Nazis are better than the Tories. They're socialists. What is a joke, though, is comparing modern Britain to Nazi Germany. The Tories are the most ethnically diverse government in UK history, proving that ethnicity is no barrier to forming a lacklustre government. And they govern Britain, a proudly multiracial country with laws to prevent discrimination and ensure equal rights for LGBTQ+ and ethnic minorities. The Tory government is so tolerant and bountiful that ethnic minorities cross seas and actually risk their lives to get into Britain, whereas ethnic minorities generally risk their lives to escape Nazi Germany. And the Tories are just trying to enforce UK borders to stop people entering illegally, whereas Nazis were more into illegally expanding Germany's borders until the borders went around people who didn't actually want to be in them. On every possible metric, the Tories are pretty much opposite to the Nazis, although they are keen on making us eat more vegetables. Gary's comment cynically minimises the horror of Nazi Germany. Some people will say that it's offensive to the victims of the Nazis and to the British men who died defeating the Nazis, but it's actually more offensive to the Nazis themselves, who put a lot of effort into being evil and probably wouldn't appreciate being compared to Britain's soggy arse centrist Tories who can't even get a train to run on time. Anyway, Gary's comments about channel crossings made his channel cross and the BBC stood him down. Other celebrities rallied round Gary. Carol Vorderman found time in her busy schedule of flogging terrible financial products to vulnerable people to reinforce Gary's demands for open borders, an issue that her wealth will insulate her from. Alistair Campbell backed Gary too, even though Alistair is one of the architects of the invasion of Iraq that left up to 1 million people dead and precipitated the refugee crisis that we're now dealing with. I mean, I'd love to help Iraqis by allowing them unfettered access to the UK, but it is a bit risky as some of them, like the attempted Liverpool maternity hospital bomber, want to take revenge. Where were these celebrities who are suddenly in favour of free speech when Tory MP Andrew Bridgen was cancelled for comparing the vaccine rollout to Nazi Germany, or when Gina Carano was cancelled for comparing the left's rhetoric to Nazi Germany? Why didn't Ian Wright and Alan Shearer walk out when Matt Letizia was fired? It seems that it's fine for people on the right to be cancelled. And Gary wasn't being selfless. If, like him, you're a lefty celebrity, and really, is there any other kind, you have to virtue signal to make sure you still get booked by woke TV commissioners. One of the ways you can virtue signal is by pretending that you want open borders. This is the ultimate socialist virtue signal because you get all the credit yourself for wanting open borders, but you're safe in the knowledge that any negative consequences will fall on other people. The men who make it across the channel on small boats are generally dumped on deprived working class communities, nowhere near your gated mansion with its security. And if anyone in the working class communities complains, you can call them racist, earning you even more virtue points. And Gary's keyboard political activism was actually used as a defence in his dispute with the UK government over £5 million of unpaid taxes. His lawyers said it showed that he's a freelance worker rather than a BBC employee. By demanding open borders, he's able to avoid paying towards the multi-billion-pound bill of dealing with uncontrolled immigration, and somehow he's convinced everyone that this is virtuous. What a trick! If Gary really was virtuous and believed in human rights, he wouldn't do things like taking £1.6 million of Qatari blood money. Never mind open borders, Qatar has slave labour and the death penalty for homosexuality. A bit worse than the Tories then, but like most lefty celebrities, Gary Lineker's morals are completely soluble in money. But I still support his right to free speech. I want everyone to be free to express opinions, even if, like Gary, they use that freedom of speech to say horrible things like minimising the Holocaust. because it means that I can see how stupid they are instead of it being hidden. Also, Gary presented a solution to the small boats crisis by taking a refugee into his own house. Now, it might have only been for 20 days, like a kid taking the school hamster home for the weekend, and he had staff and vetting to make sure nothing went wrong, but it shows how we can deal with the crisis. We have the technology to identify political attitudes right down to the household level. So instead of dumping cross-channel migrants on deprived working class communities who haven't asked for them, house them among wealthy Guardian readers who do want open borders. The government can pass a law saying that anyone who tweets demanding open borders has to take in several fighting-age men from the small boats, instead of the taxpayer having to spend billions to put them up in hotels. Then everyone's happy and gets to live with the consequences of their opinions. And we can see if those opinions change. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and share it with your mates. And if you'd like to support me making these videos, you can become a Patreon. From as little as £3 a month, you get exclusive content, including Patreon-only episodes of Clown World and a Patreon-only podcast with a criminal barrister. And I get money to spend on stuff that helps me make these videos. I'm going to invest in acoustic tiles next to improve the audio quality. Anyway, thanks for watching. I've been Leo Kiersky. Bye. Bye bye.